and Mitch Uber-Leslie.
I would like to extend my apologies to Jack and Scott, who couldn't be here today as the resident
For the Vegas game?
Vegas
Yeah.
casters on account of not being assigned the game to cast. So, sorry guys. Me and Matt bringing this one to you guys. I'm excited, Matt. We've been talking about this date. We've had it on our calendars, circled it. We're
toilet
ready.
bowl experts, right? I feel like every season we've gotten, the toilet bowl version. I think back to the original, right? Shanghai, Florida Mayhem. Bringing out the palm trees early on in the series. Vegas literally picks up an entire new roster for this match specifically. They just needed this roster for this one match. That's kind of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, that's it. Again, look, a long season for this team, but I think that, like, realistically, now looking at the roster that the Eternal have, I don't necessarily know if we're framing this as accurately, because I think this is the kind of team that can even punch up to like your 5-5 teams right now, right? It's just that they haven't yet found a win after a game, a week with this new roster, but a lot of exciting prospects here. Finale, I think, was a play that we really enjoyed on the Toronto Defiant. I think during that period of time. Go on.
Who do you think wins this match? I want a 6-mapper. I want a draw, and I want 6 maps to this match. That's what I'm looking at.
I think Vegas win this match. I think they can win in a 3-1, actually. I'm very bullish. I'm really bullish on Irony and Knife especially. I think they're incredible players. We've really seen great showings from them. Now, can they convert those? That's what I'm basing this on. Can they convert those 2 players into success here? We also wonder what Finale can provide us. Was a player that I definitely think belonged in the Overwatch League during his stint. Unfortunate, obviously, that his time with his team was cut short here, but now on the Vegas Eternal, yeah, I think this team can do it.
I mean, look, I think Vegas has improved their roster. I actually think the Valiant have been really good, though. Like, maybe really good is not the right term, but they've been pretty good. They've been competitive in a lot of games, and as I say that, it is Cry gets taken out early.
Yeah, it was a tough start in that fight there for the Valiant. Still a bit to work with, though. CJ's able to pick the Finale out of the sky. 2 those already transitioned over towards the point. So the Valiant will be back with 5 a little quicker. You can see the wireframe of Crowy leaping to get back into the fray.
Yeah, Nos can actually stall this out a little bit, right? You can, extend this point for a very long time. Cry's already back, and actually they get Secret back to the knife there of Tuyu.
Unexpected way, I think, for a Sombra to get picked off. They're also really punishing here for the Valiant. They're playing so heavily around this EMP, whereas Vegas obviously don't have that as part of their win condition. It's about Knife trying to run roughshod here through the Valiant, and Finale burning these tanks down instantly. That's pretty dirty, actually. Bionade there on CJ, then the sticky bombs connected. The Vegas off to a pretty good start here.
Yeah, a fantastic start here for the Vegas Eternal as Knife and Finale team up, being able to pick off a few players, and really it all started with Tuyu taking out Seeker with his just Knife. I guess he must have been really low, maybe a little bit of a prediction there on the Sombra. Sombra can be invisible, not exactly sure how the Knife connects, but
again, it could have been 6. Like, again, you have to hang around to actually build ult charge. Like, you have to take some risks. Oh, Knife. Oh, yeah. Not missing a beat here. Off the back of a great debut showing. Delivers another fantastic pulse bomb in CJ's direction. And the Valiant have nothing to do here.
We just saw the stats for Knife, and they looked really good. Right now it looks like an opportunity to just bolster those stats even more, as the one that he was struggling with is the deaths, but it does not look like anybody plans on dying for the Vegas Eternal anytime soon. That's actually a hack that goes on a Knife, but he's going to get the recall off.
So here's that EMP fight. The problem is that Seeker has to contend with both Rally and this nano boost. So best case, he catches both supports inside of that and helps, I guess, Crowley really follow up with this nano boost. It's going to be a tough ask. Nano boost already deployed to 2, though. That allows him to stay alive under that early scrutiny, and Knife does what only Knife can do. Finds CJ. Not slow, at least able to reciprocate, albeit with a pulse bomb to find that kill, and he's found both backliners himself. Both Tracers are the impact players in this fight, but the Vegas are the ones that control the point. The Eternal here are just ticking up in this capture percentage. Crowley's forced away from the fight, and Nos has to recall.
Yeah, I mean, Tuyu goes on a little bit of a journey, right? Gets the rampage off on the Liar, but it does not look like any of those ultimates are going to be useful at all. So Cry getting Primal Rage here would be huge. This is going to allow him to just kind of stall this out, allow the rest of the team to get back.
Crowy Primal Rage just to stay in the fight. Not really how I would have liked to use it now under stall circumstances, but you've got to make do. That is absurd. Knife with the magnetic pulse bomb. Apparently, CJ cops it once more. Crowy does not have that Primal this time around. And I'm sorry, but this is not a close round at all. The Los Angeles Valiant just got spanked.
Oof. I mean, that is dominance from the Vegas Eternal. I don't get to say that often, but that is a really tremendous round one as Valiant had absolutely nothing going there. I mean, that is a really rough sign if you're the LA Valiant.
5-0 for Knife, 4-1 for Finale. 2U at 3-0 here, and only 4 final blows managed for the Valiant squad, and we saw 2 of those come in the same fight care of Nos. Here's 2U, of course.
Let's see this knife.
Is this? Yeah, this was early in the round.
Knife?
Oh, he just got
he's
it.
asleep back there. Yeah, just throws it right through his head.
That's a knife.
I mean, you should do some voice lines.
No, I mean, the voice actor for John Queen's done a fantastic job. Sounds like someone like outside the local footy game at Footscray, like at 5 p.m. on a Saturday with a stubby of VB. So I don't think I could come close. They've done a great job with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I understood a little bit what you just said.
You Australian or what?
Outside a sporting venue. Oh, that's a huge bio there at the high ground.
Yeah, from the low ground as well. So it's like kind of an awkward angle. That's dirty from Heine.
So this is gonna be difficult for Vegas to like kind of get up to this high ground, right, and put pressure on, because you're not gonna be able to just kind of like fly into the Cassidy here.
Nos in the middle of things. Ice block thrown out. I think 2U got stuck with that. Oh, there it is. Okay, Seeker connects. Knife had to recall there as the wall kept 2U out of the fight, and then Crowy emerges, mad as a hatter, swinging 2U falls.
So I think Vegas may need to change this one up a little bit, right? It's going to be because even if you
play dive,
get to the high ground, yeah, I think you just play dive. Even if you get to the high ground, right, they can just speed boost out. They can like rotate around. You're taking so much damage as you go in. So maybe it's just the tank here you change.
Okay, yeah. So it'll be Tracer Echo with this Winston for 2U, trying to circumvent Crowy whenever possible. Again, look at Ione looking. I mean, I've been really impressed with Ione. I think that bio to start this round was really solid.
There's no follow-up.
Yeah, again, I mean, they just went in position for it. It was probably never meant to be followed up on necessarily. Okay, Nos taking huge amounts of poke. Maybe that was actually Knife pressuring him down. Either way, CJ, Immortality killed Air Matrix, all of the trimmings getting thrown out here. Finale has to try and dodge away from this now in this duped Cassidy form. It'll take to the skies, but CJ will clip his wings.
Yeah, just another pretty convincing fight win here for the LA Valiant as their setup still seems to be pretty difficult to break there up on the high ground. I wonder if Echo's the right call. Is this not going to be a Widowmaker switch, right? We're going to see something else here, I'd imagine.
Back to Echo.
Back to the Echo. I mean, the Echo like doesn't have just great like mobility. Like obviously can get high in the sky, but like isn't exactly a difficult target. I know when the Echo is in the sky, and then if you just go and put pressure on the high ground, and it fails, and you're just dropping down onto the point, it seems like it should be an easy target.
Okay, Knife down there by an ice spike. Nos able to poke away. Makes Eternal, they crumble, instantly crumble. Save their ultimates at the very least. I mean, I think they realized they got to go. But how?
I mean, I guess they kind of have to, right? I mean, what else are you gonna do? But yeah, I mean that is a dominant round now here for the LA Valiant. It looks like Mitch, as time will run out as both teams kind of get a blowout here in our first match.
Listen, the Valiant said themselves they dubbed this match the Toilet Bowl, so it's not as if it's not like we're editorializing here. Toilet Bowl is often characterized by very swingy matchups, not necessarily close.
So I'm saying we need a 6-mapper. We haven't had a 6-mapper in a while. Give me a draw.
So we need yeah. Okay, so yeah, we need a draw on most likely the hybrid map to really make this one go the distance. Look, I mean, in terms of Vegas' setup, it's kind of hard to be too mad at any individual there. They start with the wrong comp. They just don't feel good on their Junker Queen setup, and then they get a lot of players picked off at the start of these fights. Like Nos finding a player, Seeker finding a player, and all of a sudden their dive plan just falls flat.
Yeah, I actually think this point could be way better for Vegas. I just think their composition there in that last round was just quite poor. As Alliance takes a big chunk of damage there on this. He tries to go up to the high ground. a lot of players in the Valiant get quite low.
Instantly, though, he just drops aggro. I mean, no one's looking at him after he bumps around the corner, so just heals himself up and he's good to go once more. Immortality fields are down for both sides. Rack Attack going over this ice wall here, cleverly placed by Finale to force the Valiant down to this low ground. Crowley very low, and it's not getting better anytime soon, apparently. He has to completely give control of the point over, and even then he's going to get chased into the wall.
Yeah, as Knight gets that first pick off on the Sojourn, follows it up with a few more, as looks like the Valiant just gonna kind of back up here, get back to spawn, everybody kind of organized before you get in another push on in, as Vegas does a nice job in that first fight. You see Irony already building up towards that Am Matrix.
Yeah, again, just a sustained fight in the front line. That ice wall, man, I think it's a difference maker from Finale. He's looked excellent. Coming back here, first on the Echo, now the May. Look how far forward the Vegas Eternal are pushing, and Crowley again, struggling. Oh, it's the Annihilation. Ice Block has to be used, but Crowley isn't going to fare much better. The wall eventually comes down. And I think the Vegas Eternal definitely achieved their objective there. Push into enemy territory.
I mean, that's like one of the first times I've seen that where like they kind of like had 3 players stuck down there. They had to drop an Immortality field down there, and against that Ramacha with Annihilation, that is probably the worst spot on the map that you could end up being.
100%. That's just terrible. Finale here wants a proactive Blizzard, and I love this pace from the Vegas Eternal, but Zeke is able to pop his ultimate. The overclock finds Rack Attack. Finale able to just get back around the corner. That ice wall, though, is going to make it even harder. Oh, on the back foot, Finale finds a pick on Nos. Immortality field thrown down. Can they keep 2 alive? Rack Attack holding onto his sound barrier on account of not being in the fight, so can't hold that against him. Finale will stall a little bit more, but Vegas pushing ahead for 2 fights have gained a lot of percentage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you would have used the sound barrier there if he was alive, kind of keeps you rolling with that Annihilation, because he wasn't able to use it really, offensively at all there, but Cry had his rolling on the point, and now if you're the Valiant, I think you play aggressive here if you're the Valiant, right? You have this Blizzard, just kind of how we saw the Vegas Eternal get aggressive before with Finales. You could have got aggressive with yours, but that's a railgun shot from Knife. That takes out Liar, and you didn't even have to have an Am Matrix use here.
Knife is so deep. He's flanked all the way around. This guy's got some moxie, though he does meet Seeker and eats a railgun. You can see what the intent is for Vegas. Play fast, go hard. It's going to be Austin out down second. He's able to find that kill. Rack Attack might be down with sound barrier. Not ideal, but they've got an amplification matrix to work with regardless, and Liar can't do too much. Outside being pinned to the wall by Knife, who now just take this high ground position. The Valiant are going to be put in a last fight scenario.
I mean, Knife is filthy as looks like CJ jumping on trying to get it at 50%, but I feel like that Valiant, you have to play aggressive in that scenario, right? Like here's the Blizzard, let's see, is does not great there, but like that's why I was saying you got to be aggressive, right? You could have caught them off guard as they were running in, just how the Vegas Eternal did.
It was a panic ultimate. You died to that Am Matrix damage before you could deploy. Don't know much about that. Blizzard here for Finale, mostly circumvented. Crowley inside the Immortality field, which no one's been able to find damage on so far, probably owing to that May wall. Now, though, Crowley will have to succumb. And that'll be the Vegas Eternal. All things considered, pretty clean showing here on Oasis, and great start, marching towards their first win of the season.
Honestly, extremely strong start from Vegas, because I feel like that second point, I mean, their comp was just really bad for what that the Valiants were throwing out, where Valiant were able to hold that high ground, not making the changes in time to really make an impact, where Vegas kind of really cleaned them up there in map number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Great showing. Again, I love the aggression here. There are a lot of teams, especially, frankly, those lower in standings that don't look to take advantage of, badly positioned foes or push ahead in some of those fights. But on Oasis, you have a lot of opportunities to do that. I think they really showed a good understanding of how to catch the Valiant off guard. This is just a knife reel. I mean whether Sojourn or Tracer, this guy is so nasty.
Right, I was going to say, like, as we move forward in the series, right, if you are not able to stop his Tracer, because I imagine you'll see that a very good amount of the time, you're in a lot of trouble if you're the Valiant. I feel like, if you have him on Tracer the entire time, if you're the Vegas Eternal, kind of have Finale just fill in the gaps, play what kind of makes sense, I think you're in a fantastic spot to win.
I'm just throwing this out there. 3-0 win for Vegas actually puts them even on map differential with the Valiant.
So that'd be huge.
I guess we take head-to-head, and because the Valiant won in the Pro-Am, I don't know how that will work out. But keep an eye on that one. That's a possibility. Eichenwalde
could go down to the wire.
Absolutely. A second map in this series. So don't go too far. It is your Vegas Eternals searching still for their first win. Great start for the Vegas Eternal here in this very hotly anticipated matchup with the Los Angeles Valiant. Again, these are two teams that have had their fair share of adversity faced this season. One of these teams is going to walk out very pleased, at least today, gaining victory. And so far, it's the Vegas Eternal with that first map win. Overall, I'd say in aggregate, pretty convincing stuff. A very much changed roster, right? Irony to you, Knife, now Finale joining. Pretty impressive to see them get results. Now again, small sample size, early days against this Valiant team who've impressed a lot of people despite their, only one win this season.
Hey, look, you want to improve the team? Just bring in a new team, pretty much, right? I mean, they make a ton of roster changes. Bringing in Finale, Knife, too. I mean, these players have looked really good with this roster thus far. We'll see how things go in Eichenwalde. Do we see them go back and play some of that Echo stuff? I think it actually makes a lot more sense here. I don't think you're going to see like a Cassidy type of setup on the other side, so I think it's a little bit easier to make it work.
Ongoing narrative about the Valiant is that they don't really prefer to play Sombra, right? Seeker does it on occasion, but if Seeker has the chance to play Cassidy, Sojourn, we often see him go in that direction instead. Nos is a very, very good tracer, so that role is essentially locked in on this team. And then, of course, we sort of talk about like what does Crowie prefer to play, especially at the start of the season. Basically, no Winston whatsoever. This team was one of those that really wanted to play the rush style. how much mileage can you get out of it here, I think is a pretty valid question, especially if you're dealing with Echo.
Yes, we'll see Valiant here on defense to kick things off.
Okay.
What will they end up playing? So Sombra Echo here with a Ramatra in the mix. So a little bit of a different variation from what we've seen, I know, from some other teams. So,
yeah, it's often Echo Tracer, right?
Yeah, Echo Tracer, and then we've seen teams play like Winston with it, right? To be able to kind of like follow up on some of the things that the Echo and the Tracer can do.
Finale may be on the Tracer here. I think Jake mentioned this on the desk. We knew Finale is primarily a Tracer player. Had some really great showings. I think, like, in general, was actually quite a consistent player. So, you know, if we get that, don't be too disappointed. It unlocks Knife to show us a bit more. I mean, his Sojourn was really impressive. How much of this Widow do we actually get? Just that. I'll take it.
Find anything, yep.
Oh, no! No! I know exactly what he just said.
That's why you need the Life Weaver, bro. That's why you need the Life Weaver. Get him back in the spawn.
Exactly. Critical error. Rack Sport.
I mean, if you had Life Weaver, you were good, bro.
Oh, heavens
that's unlucky.
I'm seeing it all now, Matt. All right.
That's hilarious.
Back on the Tracer. Finale will be on that Echo. Yeah, Life Weaver. Must pick. At least at the start of the round.
Must pick for the first 6 seconds here. I know you get involved.
Big. All right, Vegas that's a pretty critical error to make. They're gonna shake it off though. Crowy. Just letting some of that bounce off him there in the front line. Finale just spots Seeker, so doesn't want to use flight if he just gets his wings clipped straight away. Well, things didn't go well for Knife on his foray into the back line. He's headed back to spawn, and Much of the Eternal will be joining him.
Yeah, Nasik is really low and gets hit with a bio, but looks like he's going to be able to make it back to the rest of the team. Is now, if you're the Valiant, you're setting up to roll things pretty well here, right? EMP here, then you can kind of go into the nano boost. You can get pretty aggressive behind some of these ultimates. So the Valiant putting in a pretty good defense this far.
Ooh, not quite able to avoid that EMP there. As the fall back around the corner, Finale was able to get them a trade. Seeker fell to the sticky bombs, but it's probably another false start here for the Eternal. They're going to go for it anyway. Nos is a problem. Ione, okay, that was probably unscoped there. Okay. All right, Ione. That's respectable from an Anime to another. Love to see that. Here comes Knife now again, forcing Crowy back. It's going to be Nos that gets the nano, and we'll have the duplicate option. Oh, you had to pop that awful quick, I tell you. That's going to be the Winston.
Yeah, I mean, he had to basically use it because he was going to die, even with the benefits of the nano. He was just getting burnt down by Finale. And now we're going to see the 2 Ramatras out here.
This is, oh man, and the Annihilation for a good 5 seconds. That's pretty high value stuff. Light had to pop the rally there. Unclear if he'll get away or not. Knife has to double blink backwards to avoid Crowies. Eventually he'll be brought down. So the Vegas Eternal get what they came for here. After like a slow start to the fight, they lost a couple players, but they kept the pressure up. And obviously a big dupe there from Finale.
Yes, now we'll see. What do you think happens with these Echoes as we move towards the second part of the map,
keep him.
right?
Just keep him. Don't worry about it.
Just keep them?
Yeah, they're both playing Echo.
Wait, what?
I mean, the only Finale's like, it's just CJ, it's fine. That's the only person who was shooting there. Again, I think like,
I also feel like you don't have like... Yeah, I mean, maybe now it's a little bit... I think it's better now if you're the Valiants, right? Because I was going to say you had like no synergy between like Sombra, Echo, Ramatra, right? Like, you know, you're not going to... What are you going to do? Just pull pot Nemesis Form right in there or go around?
It's just good stuff. Like stuff that's like good on its own, and if you just like have decent fundamentals and your win con is like focus a player down... Like
Nano got like nothing.
Yes.
I mean, they nanoed, he just threw some sticky bombs and just kind of went down. As I think they had an opportunity to actually put some real pressure on a CJ there.
Seeker living dangerously. Has the EMP though. Ready to rock. Nos now back to that high ground. Again, maybe Finale like fancies like a battle with Nos, like a one. Oh, that's gone horribly wrong. Oh, Seeker, the humanity pops the EMP and instantly the backline just turned on him. Rack attack grows fangs and horns, rips him a new one. Oh, that's putting it lightly, Matthew. I don't know.
They get both supports on the back end of this. So they're kind of still in it. Nas is a duplicate. Here comes Cry. So somehow they end up winning this fight. Like they end up turning out on top. I mean, that is...
Pulse. That's a stick. Nice hit on my knife. CJ now down. This should breathe some life into the Eternal. Must have breathed some life into their sails. I guess that's still fine. Here's the Primal from Tuyu. To the high ground now, so very disruptive. Trying to get Lyre off this high ground. Nos gets gobbled up by Knife. The way is clear, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, getting good payload progress. They got nothing to use though here. Coming up shortly is I think the the Valiant on defense, right? You got the double support ult. I think you're gonna have to see them get good use of the Nanos. Oh man, Crawley gets really looking too at the bios. She's gonna have to back on up.
Yeah, Nano now. CJ sends him on his way. Ragtag, nothing to do there. Nos collapsed on him at the same time. We had a rally here for Lyre. Crawley building towards that Primal here. 4 players up for the Eternal. Question is, they group up here in the high ground, maybe try and punish Crowley, but he had a bubble to hide behind, and Tuyu got lasered down by Nos.
Well, hold on. So you're getting very close to the Nano here. You also have Knife.
Excuse me? Sorry. He got a Girl Scout cookie.
They're actually going.
He got a heal pack, I think. And for whatever reason, Seeker hung around, thought he had the kill, and then Iron just popped him one. Got to keep that blood sugar up, Matt. Very crucial when you're under that kind of pressure.
They use the Primal, they don't touch.
Yep, they didn't touch. Oh, baby. We're getting everything we expected and more here. Crowley able to find Tuyu with the Primal, but the card gets over the line. 2 minutes 25 to play.
All right, they got an EMP coming up here soon, though. Got to stop the bleeding. Wait, where did that go?
What happened?
Where did he go?
I'm sure there's a really good reason for that. Don't worry about it. Gravity finding a kill there. The 6th player on the side of the Valiant, apparently.
I mean, well, you don't have to use the EMP now to buy some time. I mean, see, Ragatek's got the rally. Does a nice job actually hiding. Now he's going to be able to get it off.
Crowley just able to get away. That's crucial. The crackback from the Eternal was real. Okay, we have a pause here. And we will...
pause or watch here.
Ragtag with the smile. Win, lose, rain, hail, or shine.
See what happened. I got to see what happened. He had to be maybe like trying to get back, and it didn't look like anyone was around to knock him off or displace him, right?
So we had, I think we had a mouse issue going on up there. With all the cheese we've seen in the server, according to Gator.
Right, you got to keep it on charge when you're not in the game, right?
I think those mice would be ready and raring to go, but yeah. Rack Attack with some mild indigestion.
There's a nice rally here by Rack Attack right before we kind of went to this pause, right? Got around the corner after that EMP, enough time where he was actually able to get that rally off. So recovered quite nicely after whatever happened. I mean, this has been the whole second point has just been crazy. I mean, just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Again, we've had a very dynamic last couple of minutes, I think, on this last phase of the map here, and a lot of individual plays being made, and we saw Crowley go in there with the Primal. I think Seeker trying to accost Irony there and just sort of burn the Ana down. Maybe not expecting Irony to get a repair pack from off screen and then shoot the Sombra.
I think when Cry was trying to use the Primal to get back, I actually think he got knocked off course a little bit.
Yes.
Which is what prevented him from getting that clean touch.
All right, we are back. 1:49 to play as the Eternal are still on the attack, and Nos, okay, disintegrates.
Yeah, so that's actually the EMP that gets used by the Valiant, but they're ending up, as you see here, just getting pushed back so far because it's a really nice rally from Rack Attack as Finale gets a duplicate off here.
With the back line.
That's a nice bio.
He shut down the rally entirely.
That's during the rally. Oh, it's terrible for the Valiant.
Oh, punishing Finale and Tuyu sweep straight on in there and make sure the job is done right. Cards getting home here. Eternal with a burst out of the pause. 1 minute 19 to play.
He says C. They all say C now.
I tell you,
they didn't bully him in the spawn.
These guys have been ignoring all of their social obligations, the passage of time, sat at their PC grinding through contenders, also they can get into a match with the Los Angeles Valiant and type C9 in the chat.
Hey, I love it.
I respect the grind.
First rule of talking trash is even when you're losing, you're 0-10. You won 2 maps all year. Even if you weren't a part of it that much, still your record. You gotta just keep talking trash. That's how you gotta go, right? Once you stop.
Yeah, you gotta go out the way you came in. You can't give them an inch in that sense. More than that, 67.75 meters. So a full map completion there for the Vegas Eternal. Los Angeles Valiant now, again, it will probably come up on this rush style, and the Eternal are kind of happy to mirror that. So
for a second, I thought we were going to get a Moira on defense. I was about to be like, what?
That would be very aggressively slanted. So, again, you sort of question, right, we have like the Echo, the Sombra, the Ramatra, all kind of doing different things. Let's see this, okay. Surely it was like a primal. No.
Does he just walk off?
Walk the plank.
Does he...
Look, I mean...
Does he go to Shield Bash, but his shield is broken?
I think he does Shield Bash, does he not? I mean, they gave us a replay and we still can't interpret it. So, like, you know, like it's up to us at this point, Matt. Figure it out.
All right, Seeker, they've coordinated this. You got to get the life over. Yup, boom, there it is.
That's the strat. Stick to the plan.
So they're going to actually have Liar play Mercy here to pocket Nos. So they're putting a lot into this Echo getting value.
Again, and the heal doesn't help you when you get stickied and sort of focusing being down. It's quite scary, really. Finale. Keep tabs. Liar constantly about half HP. Hey, this is a problem. Ione, I think, is blocking the shots.
I'll also say this, Mitch. I mean, the Eternal have played quite well today in a lot of these different situations. I mean, look at how much pressure is, that's the Valiant circling, but doing a nice job kind of rotating out here, keeping everybody alive. They're going to get the first 2 picks. This version of Vegas would beat a bunch of other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said at the start of the game, like, I just don't think we're, like, I know it's very anticipated, but this team, the way it's built, can fight with these 5-5 teams quite easily. And this is not like maybe the showdown that people are expecting to be necessary. There's still much more to see in the series, right? But that's my interpretation. Vegas did an incredible job, by the way, of disengaging completely there, making it impossible for the pocketed Nos to find anything.
Yeah, because, I mean, we saw, right, where Raggetag and Ione kind of, like, circled out. And you don't have a Brig there to kind of, like, help Cry, so you're just kind of leaving him alone with the Ana.
CJ, trouble, the one clip, might miss the pulse, but definitely don't miss the pulse pistols. Liar in trouble as well. It took a lot of damage in the front line from 2 swings, I think, and 9% to follow up, but things might be headed south. Well, maybe Finale, which is migrating.
I think they're going to have to wait, right? You're going to have to get Nos back in the action. You're going to have to get Liar back in the action. You're going to have Valkyrie here coming up. And you should have a little bit of an advantage, maybe a little bit of a window here before 2U gets back to the point.
Yeah, a little bit slow. He had to use Nemesis form for the mobility walking back from spawn, and that won't last him the whole time. Ooh, those tri-shots don't tickle. Dangerous there for Seeker, actually was forced to recall. Didn't want to use it so early before the fight started. Honestly, he's not in a great position. He needs that recall back right now. Nos gets nanoed here, Finale, sticky bombs everywhere. Re-rendering the wall, apparently, as Crowy is going to be in a tough spot now. We have double annihilation potential. Finale hoping to build that one up. There are a lot of
we have triple annihilation on the board here. Yeah, here we go.
That is a little broken. CJ brought down by Finale's annihilation here. Looked like Crowley saw an opportunity to pressure Rack Attack, chase him down, but he gets back inside the Honey Lodge, survives. But hey, Mercy, she can bring people back to life. Love that.
But just think about how much more value you're going to get out of this rally than you would the Valkyrie, right? And if you're putting that many resources into Nos and he's not able to get these kills, it just feels like you're just taking a lot from the rest of the team. I mean, okay, now we're going to get the Brig, but it's probably too late. I mean, a minute to go?
I mean, yeah, rally probably not an option at this stage. Not going to get it before Ione either. Liar making his way up the incline here now on this Brig. No more pocketing for Nos. Changes the way he has to play.
So you're going to see as soon as the Valiant try and make it like any type of play for the point, you have the rally in the mix. So actually it's going to be the rally from Rack Attack out early there. Gets a nice stun there on the Seeker for a little bit, and that's going to force recall, but you've already lost Nos.
Yeah, not good. Nos now, no pocketing available here. Crowy trying to keep Liar in a great spot. Oh, Liar! Here lies White Chio. Looks like Jesus, but ain't coming back from the dead this time around. 16 seconds left. And this is it. Los Angeles Valiant have to make something happen. Nos switching over to the Sombra. Try and get a touch, try and get a stall, try and stay alive in map 2.
Yeah, it just feels like a little bit too late there. As Nos, does he make it by everybody? Is he going to be able to get the touch here? He's going to be able to translocate on the point, so he will get the touch force OT.
Yeah, okay, Seeker also be able to step up. The nano for Crow, we give him everything, give him the boost. See with the annihilation earlier in the choke, everyone tries to just run straight through it. He'll still be a factor in the fight. Oh my my goodness, Seeker. Insult and injury dumped on the man's head. Knife didn't need the pulse bomb, and Vegas didn't need to play the rest of the map. A convincing win now on Eichenwalde.
Well, look, you are going all in if you're going to run the Echo with the Mercy pocket. On the Echo, getting big value. And it did not pan out that way for the Valiant. A dominant performance yet again here from the Vegas Eternal on Eichenwalde. A full map completion on their attack. A hold there on point A on their D.
11-3 for finale. Makes you wonder why the heck he didn't start the season in this league. And 10 final blows for Knife. This dynamic DPS combination is yielding some serious results for the Vegas Eternal. Yeah, the Valiant come out with the pocketed Echo look, which didn't get a lot of value. I mean, again, it's not burst healing, it's healing over time, and frankly, not seemed under a lot of pressure in general. That's unfortunate for Secret. He thought he had the kill there, doesn't see the brig coming in from the periphery.
This whole sequence was insane. Where Irony is able to get to the Nano, yeah, I mean...
Bro, where are they finding these guys, man? God!
I mean, they're just a really... Those strong roster actually just might be like too late in the season, right? I know if you had there's some of these players earlier on. I mean, this is a Vegas team that I don't think would be sitting with the record that they are right now. I think they would be, a team that's pretty difficult for a bunch of teams to take down. I mean, they are in a prime position to get a 3-0 win.
Yeah, that first victory of the season looming now for the Vegas Eternals, becoming more than just a backwards possibility in your mind. So stick around here for map number 3, Gibraltar is where we'll be. Obviously, a win in this series would be massive for the Vegas Eternals. The team as a franchise, but doing it in 3-0 style? That's absolutely on the table. It's up for grabs here. Heading into our third map of this series, as the Vegas Eternal, frankly, have been a cut above their foes. The Los Angeles Valiant have struggled to keep up.
I mean, this is a Vegas team that won 2 maps coming into this series throughout the course of the season. And we have a sub. They're going to bring Dove in here for Finale. Finale has been really strong, but maybe they just want to get Dove some play time here. Feel like they can still get the dub.
Yeah, give an opportunity here to show what he's made of. And again, being there for the dub, if it may come around, must feel pretty good. I've got to say, over the course of this series, everyone's looked really solid. 2U as well, very, very dependable. I think on Eichenwalde in general. But again, it's hard not to look at the DPS line of the Knife and Finale combo and not be impressed. Knife especially, this guy, straight out of the gates, impressed us a lot. I'm pretty sure this is a player that, like a lot of our pundits that, focus on the Eastern region, like your Avarice of the world, definitely sort of said, hey, watch out, these guys are coming. They weren't wrong. My goodness. Great showing here in Eichenwalde. The pulse bomb on a Tracer just to really twist the knife was nice.
Just boosting his stats that we saw in the pregame, right? We saw he's highly rated in a ton of different categories. Now coming in, putting together a really strong performance yet again.
On the side of the Valiant, a lot of questions, I think, for them. Like, the how they're putting these comps together. I don't think we love the Mercy Echo combination. It was like the Echo Sombra as well, which I think is not something that most teams are going for, right? Like the Echo Tracer definitely seems to be preferred by many of our teams that are rotating in the former.
What does Dub come in for? Just to play, like, is it like you're just gonna play Sombra Tracer, and like, is that the plan here on Gibraltar? Like, don't know what else you would really kind of bring him in for potentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's the question of whether we see, hit scan play on this map. Gibraltar is the kind of map that you have some opportunities to do so. You also know that Seeker will probably try if he thinks he can get away with playing hit scan. You'll probably see that happen. So, Dove also, this might have been a map that he was just practicing on, or that Finale isn't heavily practiced on with this squad, and Dove is the right player, for this outing here. Got to say, looking over the rest of the team, we're pretty happy with Rack Attack's Brig performance in that previous map there as well. Avoiding that EMP and getting the key rally just as they're really starting to, get out into the lead was a great little burst of tempo for this Vegas team. They're really enjoyable to watch. They've been very, very good.
Yeah, it's just it's a shame they just don't have that many games left, right?
Right.
You look, right? You get your first win here potentially. If you're Vegas, take a look maybe at some irony highlights here in a second. But you got a game against the London Spitfire, coming up. So that is one that feels like could potentially be a win or close game.
The Rack Attack is maybe indicating to us what the issue is. We know that Irony actually is having a mouse issue at the moment, so that's something he's just getting ironed out. And the rest of this Vegas team have the chance to contemplate what may be on the other side of this particular map to be a situation.
Well, when Vegas was, when the Valiants were probably preparing for this match ages ago or saw it on their schedule, they didn't expect that the Vegas roster would probably look like this, right?
Absolutely.
Now it's just quite unfortunate that for them.
I mean, I don't know if I feel sorry. I mean, if your team's not winning, you just maybe change up your approach and try some other players in that spot. You could. Hey,
you gotta stop talking like that. Somebody's gonna pick you up via GM. I mean, with some takes like that.
Oh, I want to take the bait so bad. I'm just saying, it's obviously, very obviously, a way to change your fortunes, and that's exactly what this Eternal.
I feel like though, if you were a GM, you would back up the Brinks truck for Punk and Custa, and then just fill it in with relatives. That would be the rest of your. That would be the team.
Oh, okay. What is it with Australians and cronyism? Is that what you think happens? You just think we do that all the time? Dude, I want you to know, when I selected a World Cup team, I did not choose Custer. He was not on that team when I selected it. I chose Blake Esports, and I had to have conversations with Scott. I'm like, sorry, bro, like this is how it is. Blake was competing at the time in Southeast Asia.
That seems like a bad decision. Then seems like a bad decision. Then you're
it's the best year that Australia ever had at a World Cup. It was that year when obviously they had that exciting game against Japan live in Sydney, and they had a great showing. So I'm not here for that, Slater. Thank you very much. No cronyism here, not me. Sorry, Scotty. It's fine. He doesn't hold it against me. He's good for it. So anyway, you know, talking about great GMing, what would you have done, Matt? How would you have turned around the fortunes of the Vegas Eternal? Would you have done this? Would you have done something different?
Oh, I would have picked up these exact players, yeah.
But you were the guy that would go in and cut the whole team. You would just cut the team. I know you would. You would do that.
Hey, look, guys, this isn't working.
Yeah, you are, like, people don't know this about Matt. Matt is, like, pretty callous when he has to be. I guarantee he would just be like, oh, out with you all. So, you know, just be glad, Vegas fans, that you're able to find success without losing your entire team, and you had a different GM than Summer.
Alright, so Dub is going to play Sombra.
Okay.
They're just going to play high ground here.
5, 4,
Rack attack.
3, 2,
Peeking.
1.
Probably not giving a huge amount away if they saw the edge of their shield. Not sit with the bio. Crowy going to set up on this high ground here. And yeah, Seeker not going to stick on this for very long. Unfortunately for Hitscan fans, it'll be over to the Sombra.
See, you know, Dove obviously knows that both supports. That's why you use the TP there at the start to get both supports up on the high ground. On offense is get a hack on the crotch, trying to put some damage to it.
Dove. Oh, again, just, I guess...
this translocator is gone.
Yeah. Couldn't get away there. Unfortunate for Dove. Gets caught out in the open. Alright, so the Valiant now. Great start for them, able to move towards this high ground and set up. Dove maybe thought about switching here, but thinks twice about that. So how do the Vegas retake this spot?
The payload just kind of making its way underneath the bridge here, and I actually like how Valiant is taking some of this high ground here, right? Doing a nice job trying to get you know, Vegas off the high ground. Big bio grade. You know, that's going to be one that connects on both supports. I mean, just the angle you throw that at is crazy there from Irony.
Yeah, it's not easy to hit. Obviously, it's doable. We're talking about pro-level honors. This is something they probably replicate a lot of the time in the server, but you're at a fundamental disadvantage playing from the low ground with your honor comp. It's just harder to get value because not only do you need to hit the nade, which fine, you're probably a great honor player and you can do it, but you need the opponents to be in the right spot for that as well. So 2U suffers a bio nade of his own, has to back away, but that nade, that allows Vegas to erase the mistake of losing Dove at the start of the map.
So they do try and make their way back up towards the high ground. Do the Valiant. That pulse pump doesn't connect with anything, but look at the spot the supports are in. That's a pretty rough position. They're going to have to drop down, and it's not going to be pretty.
CJ got a cookie, but that's not nearly enough to keep him alive there as low as he was. 2U hack, but able to just bubble dance here, so he's not worried about that at all. Seeker might want to EMP here. If they think they have any chance of winning the fight, Crowy maybe looking to find something, but no, Seeker is down.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, you just have your primal Winston here, and then just the Sombra up on the high ground. Would have been a pretty sad, I think, EMP.
Yeah, I guess Nos wasn't there, yeah.
Nah, Crowy backs up. You're still going to try and, like, maintain some semblance of this high ground, but Chi's got primal, right? So if you jump up here and try and challenge him in a big way, you can definitely just primal out of this.
Yeah. Well, 2U, he's going to go aggressive because he knows he has a get-out-of-jail-free card in that ultimate, and there we go. CJ can deploy a nano here under a lot of pressure and holds his nerve. Rack attack instead of getting picked off, and the Valiant have the better dive.
How did they get, I mean, yeah, but who, was anybody there for the Vegas Eternal to touch? I mean, it looked like you have Dove here, it looks like Knife here as well, and the cart just goes on through.
Not a great look for Vegas there. Not something that happens just because Dove's in the server, but I know it's how it's going to look. Dove obviously had the EMP in that previous fight. Pulse here. Knife basically saying, yeah, if CJ wants to escape, he has to come towards me. Makes perfect sense. Though, Liar's going to be there with the rally. Pulse from Nos. Okay, all of a sudden the Valiant springing their step. Side to life now. Raktak has the rally. Knife doesn't feel like he can chase Crowy. He's probably correct.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to look pretty bad for Vegas as the dive now just kind of coming through here from the Valiant. It's looking good, but that's a huge kill. The bio grenade on a Cry, and the knife comes in for the finish.
Yeah, Knife just happened to be coming off spawn, I guess, or just being sat in that back corner on the off angle. Q again hit with the Bionade. As soon as he dives in, CJ's just saving that one for the Winston, meaning that TU can't do too much more than just set up a shield and head back to base.
Now Vegas has control of this high ground. Obviously the map goes over some changes recently, but the high ground is still so important to control on the defensive side of things, where you have the nano to potentially use onto 2U if you need, but a few big bio grenades from Irony up on the high ground forces a Valiant to wait a bit.
Irony's had to give up that position now though, so 2U can't range too far unless he be out of Irony's line of sight. So you got to change the way you play if you're 2U right here. Irony's probably called that.
So I'll see how the Valiant go about. They're just kind of like a lot of clock just being burned here, right? I mean, you get the payload in, you touch it there for a second, but Cry and Seeker both really low. You're not building up. You lose Nas. You're not building up towards this EMP at all, where you're just losing time, right? Like, the idea with the dive is to kind of like coordinate something, go in deep, and make a play for the supports, right? It just feels like a lot of standing around at the moment.
And Knife is making extensive use of that time, right? While the Valiant are frankly dithering a little bit. Wins a 1v1 while he is obviously going up against Nos for control of these extremities, and then just explodes and blows up another support. Dove is a problem for them as well. He's built that EMP. The Valiant haven't had a chance to use theirs yet. This is being proactive with this sort of defensive dive setup here, making it very hard for the Valiant to get set up around this EMP.
And if you're Vegas, right, keep controlling this high ground and make Seeker like use an EMP to just like try and burn down 2U or something like that, right? Like, don't allow him to kind of go to the high ground. You lose Liar again. I mean, you've been able to get nothing going.
That was Knife getting involved there as well. They just catch Liar out. I think maybe some body blocking involved there. You're not going to EMP this side, force the sleep dart, but then what?
So now Valiant 5 ultimates to work with, but they've really been just stuck kind of like at these top doors. They've not been able to move through this part of the map at all.
Yeah, so maybe some lengthy discussion about how to go around this next fight, but they are on the clock right now. Every second counts, Crowie.
27 seconds, he got time.
Oh, he is screwed. He is absolutely rolled. He gets denied access to the high ground, and then he just lands in front of Dove. Dove goes, this seems like a great time to use EMP. Wasn't wrong. Sleeping is 2U, but he is healthy. He'll wake up and be ready to rumble. The Valiant get put in the trash compactor.
I mean, that's your rally too. I mean, that just feels terrible. So Nos Nos is gonna fall here. I mean, you just end up using the EMP here at the end, and it's a sad one. I mean, you don't get a use of your primal, or you're not gonna get a use of your nano as well. I mean, just a lot of ultimates, just that, holding on to it forever for something that never even developed. I mean, that is
You can't be calling it the Somjax, please.
Somjax?
We've had Rally Jax, Annihilate Jax, Somjax.
Initiating match.
But like, the first point they obviously get like towards the end, right? But like the ultimates after that is just a bit of a disaster.
What are they waiting for? Right? I think that's the question on everyone's lips. What are the what are the Valiant waiting for?
I mean,
like minute-long setups. What is going on?
So you're trying to maybe like put some pressure on the top of the ship, but you're never able to get there because you have like Knife and 2U and Dove kind of standing up on the high ground, really kind of like denying, putting like significant pressure. But maybe you just needed to like you could have probably gotten 2 EMPs in the time that you just kind of like held on to that one, right? Like maybe the opportunity, like if you would have EMP'd 2U right up on the high ground, he loses a chunk of health, like maybe it forces them to end up using their nano, right? You kind of get an ultimate out from the other side. Maybe there's like some kind of trade that goes on there and can benefit you, but it never really kind of developed.
We've been enjoying Irony in this head-to-head immensely so far. Both players obviously with no final blows. It's not what we're looking at here. This is biotic grenade kills, most important metric. And some of those from Irony, right, came on like the attacking side from like the low ground. Really tough ones to hit, so very impressive stuff. He's doing a very good job of just manufacturing opportunities. Okay, we have the vaunted Rack Attack Mercy here. Switching.
Yeah, it looked like maybe just at the start, get a little damage boost, potentially. Bio hits Liar. Not going to be able to kind of push up there.
Only aware there are a couple players lingering up there. Seeker on the Hanzo. So a bit of a scary prospect for 2U, who's had a fantastic map so far at 8-1. Final blows in death.
And we didn't even really talk about it, but like Seeker on the Hanzo here, you're gonna have to like hit some of these big shots. I mean, Irony's so low, gonna make it to the health pack probably, but at least a pretty decent start of the Hanzo here from Seeker, already getting close to a dragon.
Yeah, I think Irony needs to rotate out of that position. Seeker's just gonna constantly make it impossible for him to peek. Seeker, annoying. I mean, you really have to invest on getting rid of this Hanzo. And right now, you probably don't feel like you have the bandwidth to do so.
Doesn't seem like they really care about the Hanzo.
Well, if they kill Krabi, it doesn't matter, right? Oy. Okay, 3 players.
Yeah, like they're not really paying attention to Seeker at all, right? Just kind of like, as long as the supports don't get one shot, and as I say that, Irony takes an arrow to the face. I don't think they really care. They can kind of heal through some of that extra damage.
Well, now it's an issue, I guess, without the Winston in play. Seeker also punishing 2U with some incidental damage across the course of that fight. So eventually, like, the Valiant have enough time for Seeker to get value there. Builds a Dragon Strike in that fight as well. We've got Nano and Pulse Bomb up for the Valiant.
Yeah, I don't know how much like value you get out of the Dragon. I think you just basically are taking the Hanzo for just the raw damage output. You know, maybe, you know, even the Sonic to, you know, get some vision on Dove potentially. But Valiant have a lot of ultimates here on the high ground. That's going to be a Dragon that goes through early.
Yeah, as we can see, the most useful thing about Dragon is telling us how much damage Seeker's done proportionally. Doesn't get any other value when it's actually used. CJ under siege, but 2 is going to be put to sleep as he touches down. Rack Attack not nearly as lucky on the other side. So Krawi, the successful Winston on his dive. I think essentially Rack Attack was left on his own.
It's pretty good for the Valiant as well, Mitch. They don't feel the need to like end up burning their rally, right? You're trying to like maybe kind of scare the opposing team into using that rally, as 2 actually uses the Primal Rage here, so I'd say they want to keep this one maybe going, but like there is nobody else even close.
Some excellent healing there for Seeker. You saw him face a lot of scrutiny there.
What was the idea behind that though? Like
the Primal?
Yeah, I mean you had Irony maybe here at range that was able to heal you, like if you were able to jump up, but like I don't think you were going to force... I mean, if you're not going to be able to force the rally when you're nanoed and on top of both supports, just kind of like primaling like 1v3 is not going to do it.
Yeah, maybe to get out alive, and then because Rack Attack was coming back off spawn at the time. Nice from Nosy. Emerges.
You would like the primal there.
Yeah, would have been good. Forget about it though. 1 minute left in the round. That error from 2, a little bit uncharacteristic, I feel like. It was very...
Yeah, absolutely.
Solid play.
Pretty good series so far.
Yeah, and on the Dynasty as well. It never really struck me as someone to make these glaring errors. Alright, Dove could break the deadlock here with a well-placed EMP. Back on Nos first, but straight away the healing eyes get turned in his direction. Very attentive by Lyra and CJ.
It's going to be hard to get a big EMP, right? You're going to have to like get some of these players down from the low ground as they just go for the EMP. And that's actually a Dragon that's kind of like shot on through it, but the Dragon gets nothing.
So much is happening, Matt. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Dragon almost, I think, gets the kill on Dove there, but he EMPs out just, he translocates out just in time rather. And the Pulse, knife delivers. Little quiet this round, as I think Krawi was, you know, punishing the backline of the Eternal over and over again.
So let's see how Vegas goes about this, right? Like, you really need to kind of get on top of the ship, get control of this, because you can't allow them to kind of push up to that high ground that we saw Vegas do on their defense.
Right, the Valiant would love to be able to get up on the shuttle, but they don't have the time to do that right now. Sleep on 2, hits, Krawi with the Primal, rally now, see that overshield being doled out, hack, sleep, Krawi with 300 HP, able to get to the high ground, knife though nanoed in order to presumably pick him up.
Oh, he's so low.
The guy's tracking then, otherworldly stuff.
I mean, this is bad because you're trapped inside of the ship, right? This is exactly the position they want them, and you can throw like a big bio in here, you'll get some insane value as 2 getting very close to another Primal Rage.
Knife only just now finds CJ. I think he walked past him quite a few times. Nicely done, good bio on 2 there. Couldn't benefit from that Mega. And the Valiant can stabilize here, although the cart is getting a little close for comfort.
But a minute and 30 is not a ton of time here. Like, you can definitely get a hold here if you're the Valiant, right? You're probably just looking at one more EMP that comes through. If this EMP is not good, you're in a spot where you can definitely hold.
Krawi here on that low ground. Can't help out with CJ and Lyre, but great sleep on 2. Would have been dicey otherwise. Recall for Nos, trying to fight Knife. He translocates away rather, blinks out. Nos is hacked. Unperturbed though, with the pulse bomb still to deliver. We're 1:03 left in the round, Matt.
Yeah, and you see that too. He just keeps constantly just jumping up, trying to make a play for the high ground, and then they lose rack attack. This is bad. They're going to go for it anyway.
Why are they doing this? Unclear. I mean, they are very low in fairness, but Liar's going to be able to pick them back up. Kart's on the move, but that was an interesting call from the Vegas Eternal. To you, another Primal. Will this one be as questionable as the last? He slept, forced to jump back to the rest of his team.
But like, look where the card is. You don't have to use the EMP in that side of the situation. You're coming back with Primal, Rally, and probably a Nano. You just need one fight win. You would have had all 5 ultimates to use.
They're so close to the win. Maybe that's what's setting them off kilter here. Rally from Rack Attack. They've lost Knife. Seeker connects, finds the headshot on the most crucial target of this part of the fight. Tuyu drops down briefly. It's going to be Rack Attack's Rally inside the shuttle. Do they have enough numbers here? Doesn't look like it. CJ happy to heal through this. Rally in play now for Liar. And it's going to be Tuyu slinking away from the fight, dropping it on Irony now. Bionade out the ground, not going to finish the job there. And the Los Angeles Valiant have this one locked down. Vegas with some interesting stumbles towards the end of the map. They're going to serve this one over. Knife is down, he's not going to be able to touch. It might be Tuyu with a sliver of health, maybe Dove. Whoever it is, it's going to be short-lived now as there's no choice but to try and keep it going. Tuyu barely touches. Sombra may be the next to step up here, but only 3 players on the map right now for the Eternal. Dove gets there. We're going to go again. Rack Attack, shield bashes forward, can't touch, that'll be that.
I mean, that is a map win there for the Valiant, but man, just some ultimate usage there. I got to see, you know, Johnny does these crazy breakdowns, right? He loves that telestrator. He better bust it out for this one. I got to see some of these breakdowns of some ults, because it feels like Vegas is in a prime opportunity match. You could have just held on to your Primal and then held on to your EMP and came back with 5 ultimates with, like, what, you had maybe like 10 meters to go, not even. And it feels like they were backing up the Valiant. You had complete control of the high ground as well. It just feels like a really big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think the coaching party line will be tightening up things like that.Maybe some more patience for this team, who are pretty hungry to score this first win for the franchise. Many of them obviously recently joining it. So, oh man, yeah, that was the EMP Jax, Som Jax as it was.
I mean, the ultimate usage from both teams was a little bit weird, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't think either team really kind of was like, you know, tremendous with some of their ultimates, where I think, you know, both teams left a lot on the table there on Gibraltar.
All right, well, Colosseo, though, is still on said table, and it's up for grabs here. The Eternal won't have a flawless victory, but they can still get a W all the same. The Valiant are digging their heels in, trying to hold on, trying not to be the first team to serve up the Eternal this W. Stick around for map 4. Finally, a staunch resistance offered here by the Los Angeles Valiant on Gibraltar. It's dive all the way. And it works out pretty well for this player in particular. That's right, Crowie down there in the bottom middle. Jawline that can cut diamond. Fantastic showing on the Winston at times there. Again, very chaotic game, I think, in general for both teams. The ult usage was questionable, but hey, can't argue with this scoreline.
Sorry, I was just surprised by potentially the subs I thought we were looking at there. But Crowie did have a really nice game on Gibraltar. He got like the one time where he was like caught out by the payload really at the start, but after that, you know, much better use of the primals, being able to kind of stay alive, better just kind of coordination with the rest of the squad.
Yeah, looking really, really solid. Again, like for a player that we saw veering away from Winston when possible at the start of the season, he's developed quite nicely. Talk to me about this one, Matt.
So Knife is coming out for finale.
Yeah.
Where like,
I mean,
Seeker can play the Sojourn here and pop off. Where like, you take out like, I mean, Knife has been so good. I mean, I feel like Vegas. You may be making this a little bit too hard on themselves, right? Like, just leave Knife and finale in. I don't know.
I mean, someone told you, Tony, you're not supposed to pull the knife out?
Dude, there's no way.
Just leave it in. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Just keep walking down the street. Don't worry about it. All right, so Dub remains in here. Finale, obviously, who had great production during the maps that he was in. It's super questionable. It is. A Knife just being above and beyond
I mean, we just like the stats. He was like #1 on like Tracer, like hero damage and all this other types of stuff. I mean...
Yep. Listen, Dub's got seniority, okay? All right, don't give no lip, no chatting back here, okay? We got games to play, baby.
All right, I'm willing to see how it plays out, but your boy's got a feeling we're seeing Busan.
All right, well, look, not great from the Vegas Eternal on that previous map. Just again, we're seeing like, yeah, the old economy not making a lot of sense. Some of these primals from 2U, questionable. The timing on some of these EMPs and even like rallying in like lost fights or like short-handed scenarios that, like you kind of mentioned, Matt, maybe if they just not altered, regroup, come back with 5 and you know, if they have to, just press Q all at once, you know?
What do you think they're trying to what do you think they're trying to play here, Vegas?
Finale, they could play Dove on Tracer. They could also play Tracer Sombra with Dove and Finale. Finale was the Tracer player, primarily. I think when we saw him on the Defiant, mistaken. So you can do that. Dove can also play something longer range. Finale's Echo, I mean, I don't know if I expected Echo Hanzo. I did not have that on my bingo card.
There's no shot. I mean, I'm really curious, like, because if you're going to make this sub, it's probably to play something really specific. And we'll see what it actually ends up being. Yeah, Seeker could definitely play the Hanzo here. You can play the Hanzo at range, so it looks like Finale is in here to play the Mei. So you're going to play Mei Hanzo for both teams here with Ramatra in the mix.
Okay, mirror compositions in a must-win map for the Los Angeles Valiant. Seeker, I mean, I can't fault the Hanzo. It was pretty annoying for the Vegas Eternal to deal with at many points on Gibraltar. They kind of ignored him and he punished him for it.
And I gotta feel like, though, if you're the Valiant, like you're in love with this, right? Like, you know, Seeker definitely has the capabilities of popping off on the Hanzo. We just saw him play it right. No, you're asking, you know, Dove to come in, who just played Sombra for a whole map, to now pick up the Hanzo at range. And then Finale, like, off the bench to come in and play the Mei. I mean, it's a really tough spot for both these players where, you know, Seeker's kind of in the flow of the game, just played this hero for, you know, a good chunk of the map.
And I'll say the player on the Vegas Eternal that generated probably the most hype-playing Hanzo was actually Rakatak. For reasons. For multiple reasons, but actually, you know, did pretty well. So, like, I don't know if, like, you know, the association of Dove and Hanzo is like a particularly strong one for many sort of pundits. You know,
CJ already with an AM matrix. This is fast.
Can Vegas get out of this situation? Okay, 2U jumps the gap. Finale still wants to pick in here. A lot of damage coming in here. I had to see a regenerative burst there from CJ. The Blizzard now. Okay, don't quite catch Finale. Can he turn and get Crowie? Yes, Immortality Field is down. Crowie, though, looks like, okay, he can't escape. Eventually, there are cracks in the armor.
Yeah, as Cry just gets split off from the rest of the squad, right? That Blizzard goes down, and although it doesn't connect with him, it still puts him in a position where he just can't really get anything for the rest of the squad. So Vegas will end up coming out on top in this first fight. A little bit of meterage there for the Valiant, but it'll get past up pretty quick.
All right, so that fight really, Blizzard, okay, build up to that one. You couldn't find any value with your amp matrix as the Valiant, which really hurts. I think the Vegas were able to fold back and away from that one, and Finale, great Blizzard.
I like the idea behind it though. I like they pushed up and tried to use the amp matrix, like force some players into like a corner and get a pick off, but it just doesn't end up paying off.
All right, Dragon Strike here for Dove.
So Vegas kind of like just backs off, Mitch. Like I feel like they had an opportunity where they could like moved up, played a little bit more aggressive. They kind of like back up here.
Yeah, maybe they're hoping to put some distance and then amp matrix feels better than if you're just sort of rushing in with it. But well, forget about it. They
the Dragon get. Oh, I mean that is.
Sorry, they're feasting, Matt. These Dragons are extremely satiated. Tuyu here had his annihilation. Crowley also popped that. Dove, speculative headshot. After that exchange of 2 for 2, the Valiant are still pushing.
I mean, that's like, you know, obviously Hanzo in the game, like we see Dragons, like if you're comboing with something else, but some nice shots there by Dove.
Nice.
You typically don't see like Dragon Strike kills otherwise, but I mean, those are some big ones on both sides.
They were shot perpendicular to the curvature of the road, so they were, I guess, still killing players inside the side rooms who just couldn't escape. I guess that's the only way you can guarantee a hit there, right? Either way, works out. Both Hanzos are the same idea.
The one from Seeker actually kills Irony, who just dropped an amp matrix and trying to like shoot through it and heal. I mean, that one was huge.
Yeah, that amp matrix got no value. Maywall was thrown in front of it. Dove gets another one, by the way. Eventually brought down by Seeker, but I mean, damage is already done. CJ's down. Finale, we're going to try and weather this storm, throw a later Blizzard here. Doesn't time it to avoid getting frozen, but still it forces the Valiant away, prevents them from following up. 3 players benefiting from the sound barrier for the Valiant here. Crowy, low, but Tuyu's in a scary position. Still comes out with Nos. I don't think he's expected to do that there. The Valiant were the ones that were presumably pushing.
Yeah, I mean, the Valiant were the ones who, it looked like their health bars were a bit healthier, at least at the start of that fight. Is probably now getting backed up here as Vegas trying to take some space. I know, getting near halfway through this game, not a lot of push progress from either team. It just doesn't look like anybody's like super interested in it, right? They just keep backing up.
Well, again, for Vegas here, they know they're playing into a tough part of the map. This is exactly why it's an issue, right? Hanzo has great advantage. Dragon strikes galore once more. This time, neither of them find any kills. Seeker spares the thought for the immortality field, eventually brings that down, but Tuyu wasn't benefiting from it anyway. Here's a chance for the Valiant here to come alive.
Oh, nice shots there from Seeker. Got another one coming.
Yep, punishes Dove as well. Nicely done.
All right, so now you can get some high ground here if you're the Valiant, and there's an opportunity to take the lead in terms of progress. As Dove was switching over to Genji there for a second, but now I'm going to stay on the Hanzo.
Seeker, yeah, like I said, needs to be shifted from this position. You ignore him like you did on Gibraltar. Oh, okay. Giving him an air matrix as well. The Maywall just instantly crumbles. Finale's able to manufacture a pick opportunity onto Nos, and Tuyu staunches out this damage.
It's so bizarre. We see both teams like use it ult first, and the team that uses it ult like trying to catch the other off guard, it seems to always lose a player. So now that's actually a huge kill. So losing Irony, that's a large source of your healing. It'll be Annihilation here coming from both Ramatras, an Immortality field in the mix, so trying to keep Cry up, but and now they back up, so it looks like they're going to kind of maybe like try and burn some time mid-map, but now you lose CJ.
Yeah, it's hard to follow, right, because so much of this is predicated by these Hanzo picks, especially when you're pushing into the high ground, right? Both these teams' compositions kind of abuse when the cart's pushing into their territory. That's why the Valiant was so eager to get that high ground control as they managed to push the bot 52 meters.
I think if you're the Valiant here, you may think about going aggressive with this sound barrier. Like if you get a pick or, you know, get some significant damage, like really just trying to push the tempo.
Yeah. Or at least if you think you have the Valiant in a spot where they can't get away. Oh, the Vegas Eternal rather, a spot they can't get away. Seeker here just more than happy to send these bolts down range. The Vegas Eternal Otis is on them, they're really starting to make something happen here. The Dragon Strike, well, do a whole lot here. At least forces the Valiant to group back up. Finale has got to be very careful inside the Immortality field. It's not going to last forever. He's hard to get out of life. There was so much thrown at Finale.
And they dragon through the Blizzard, right? So they can kind of prevent the follow-up. So they don't have to use sound barrier there. So just to Seeker's dragon that ends up kind of preventing any big follow-up.
Nos getting
2 amp matrices.
Nos getting focused down pretty heavily last couple of fights. Seeker hoping that some of those storm arrows would get amped and find their marks. So, windows are down.
And we spent about
Eternal.
a minute and 30 here.
Yeah, and they're still going to go. It's up to Vegas Eternal to make something happen here. I think 2 knows it, but how do you push into this? Blizzard comes down and there's a perfect wall. That is, can't ask for much more than that from Nos. That is perfect.
No, and you still hold on to your sound barrier here, right? So you set yourself up if you're the LA Valiant to get even more progress as Seeker popping off. Ooh, takes out 3 there at the end.
I mean,
as
the fight's already won, but we'll give him the credit. I mean, that is pretty dirty. He did win like a nice
hey, look, you still throw that in the montage?
Yeah, get it in there. No one knows that beforehand.
Get on a YouTube short.
Hey, checkpoints on the line here. They're map 5 looking all the more possible now. Vegas Eternal at
My
risk
map
of...
6 predictions out the window, though.
No, sorry, we're not going to get that. Speculative,
So wait,
not
they
random.
switched to the Ana here, which they're going to lose out on the immortality field, which I feel like is huge in terms of the brawl, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
keeping your Ramatra up is so... Maybe they're switching to Winston here, but they have Annihilation. No way, right?
no, I mean, are you relying on like the biotic grenades or something? Like, you know, what are you gonna nano the Ramatra and just like run them down mid? I mean, it doesn't seem like. I mean, Seeker gets another pick on the Dove. I mean,
Seeker's now starting to be a problem.
I don't know what you're trying to do here.
And there'll never be any pressure on you outside of Dove, who's now switched to Sombra. What a time for it. Here's Air Matrix 2, might get caught here. Good response from the May wall from Finale.
Just driving through the window. Just go for it.
Why holding onto the sound barrier? Raktak dies with his.
Seeker's popping off, man.
Yeah, you're going to lose the map on the spot, I think, if you don't Seeker keep doing this. 2U is like 1 HP. Yep, Seeker got him with the Dragon Strike as well. So, Venn diagram of frostiness. Blizzards came down. Crow were able to use the Immortality Field to stay alive, and now the Vegas Eternal have been absolutely broken.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bio grenade here towards the end of that. That's really, but now what? I mean, you know, you had this nano. Like, who was even the target? So now you're on Tracer Sombra without Knife in the game.
Crow goes to Annihilation, even though he was bioed, of course, getting that extra bit of durability goes a long way. Sound barrier for the Eternal. Dove has EMP after switching a couple fights to go. Can he get value out of it here, or is he just tired of the Annihilation? You know what? That's fine. Carrying on. Crow pressuring 2U here, who's getting topped up for most of the time, but obviously Irony's not getting a lot of healing now as he is on tank duty. Yeah, it should be a full cap on the cards right now.
We are going to see a game 5. I mean, here comes an EMP, but...
Oh, it's happening. 100%. Nos is going to get it. The Vegas Eternal with an absolute stinker. An absolutely diabolical showing on Colosseo. I am appalled. We're getting map 5, though, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Vegas, you're just overthinking this a little bit. Like you know, Knife, Finale, they're a really good duo when they were in the game. You were looking great in the first 2 maps. To kind of move away from, you know, some of that, I just don't think it's the right move. Like, even if it's, you know, maybe there's some comps or something you like a little bit better, still, you're having so much success playing a certain style. Just go for it, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like, again, I think like when you first start out with a team, right, you're really stuck on the structure that's set before the series happens. Because, you know, you're still feeling each other out as players and teammates, right? That ability to sort of mix things up on the spot and to trust in one another, it takes a little bit longer to come by. So you're probably really sticking very heavily to whatever the coaching staff has sort of laid out, map by map and comp by comp. So I understand why this happens, but it's a reverse sweep potential now as we head to Busan for map number 5. The Los Angeles Valiant are threatening to hand the Eternal yet another loss and deny them what would have been sweet victory in map 3. It was so close. No cigar. So map 5 will be required. Here we are. A much anticipated game. So many of us
I think, had to be.
The 29th of July penned in as a moment in the Overwatch League that we will not soon forget. And this matchup between the Los Angeles Valiant and the Las Vegas Eternal has delivered. Knife and Finale back in, locked in for map 5.
And look, I don't think like when asking for Knife to be in the game, it's like nothing against Dove or Finale, but it's just when you have a player who has looked this good and put up these types of numbers on a hero, Tracer mostly, who you can kind of like make work with a lot of different ways to play. Just kind of leave him in, right? If you want Dove to come in and play Sombra instead of Finale, like go for it, right? Bring Dove in. I think then you have the Tracer Sombra that you want, right? Like if you want to play some other stuff, like bring in Finale for Dove, like move that around. But like you have a really talented player, just leave them in the game, right? Which I think it's good, if you're a Vegas fan, to see him come back here in Game 5.
Should tell you with confidence, I think, because the Knife Finale look we got in those first couple of maps was pretty solid. Again,
but you also take him out for a map, right? You take him out for a map, when you're kind of in the flow of the game, right? You take out for a map, and now you're on the verge of getting reverse swept. You bring him in for Game 5. Like there's nerves that come with that. Like
sure.
What are you doing for those the 15-20 minutes that you're not in the game, right?
You could argue that you've unnecessarily like ratcheted up the pressure on these sort of players that are pretty new to the roster, right? These rookies, but
yeah,
it might have been like, hey, we've got Dove has practiced extensively on these maps. We might have a win here. Be a great moment for Dove to experience that, in the game. Now it's like, hey, Dove, we're just gonna put Knife Finale in. We're just gonna see if we can win the game.
In this first control point is massive, right? If the Valiant win this, like all of this pressure just starts to just come in on the Eternal. That it's tough to bounce back from. So they'll go with Tracer Echo here for the Eternal, and the Cassidy, right, which worked out pretty well on Oasis here for the Valiant.
We can see the Valiant really turtle up in this room around the Mega. If the enemy team had a Sombra, deny them access to that, but also, make it impossible to dive Seeker. Can't dive Cassidy when he's stuck inside this room, really. Sticky bombs, though. All right, not bad for Finale, but it's really just poke damage here. You've got to draw them out by, contesting the ball. Okay, Crowy. That's just a random sawn-off hit, apparently.
Didn't even look like he was looking at him.
Just a little flick gamer. We like that.
It says spin button.
Little high sense king.
So that's a fight win there for Vegas. So now we see some changes. So now Finale is in here on Hanzo, which I mean, if he could play Hanzo, he could have played Hanzo the last map.
Yeah, he could have, but also Dove could play Hanzo last map, and they could lose. Just saying. It's entertainment value, my friend. Script writers have spoken.
I feel like this actually kind of benefits the Valiant, right? Like, having these types of changes come through for the Eternal. I would at least say just kind of, on first initial look, like that would be kind of how I would think about it.
Sure, I think that, that aside, Hanzo here obviously very powerful, really outranges Seeker. It's a lot of pressure on the Cassidy. Knife apparently just go, okay.
Nice Suzu.
Yeah, that was huge from CJ. Fantastic work. And Nos kicking off in a big way. Finale down to a pulse bomb, and then he follows up on Irony. This one, ooh, it's scary stuff now for the Eternal.
Yeah, so now if you're looking at Vegas, right, like what do you do in this situation? You have a nano boost. I mean, you can get a nano here onto 2. Do you nano Knife, right? This is also pretty, when you're looking at this composition, right, and trying to play Tracer into it, there's not like a really clear, easy target for Knife to go after.
All right. Here comes that Kitsune Rush. Oh, yeah, to in the belly of the beast there. Nothing you can do about it. Another sacrifice to the Nine-Tailed God. And the Eternal will be sitting out of this fight as well, and they are running out of rope.
Yes, this will just be probably Knife here touching the point. Yep, just grows there for a second, but Nos just kind of mirroring where he is moving on the map. But these players are going to have to run in pretty straight, and you're going to have this rampage here for Crawley. 2U has not even gotten near the rampage yet, and then also you're not even near your rally as well.
Deadeye there just for the reload. Seeker was all about that pressure on Tugu. Now to the point, go to the Valiant. Here comes.
They gotta touch,
They don't touch. They don't touch with 5 players alive. Tugu and Knife are both there.
Bro, come on, man.
Not something that Vegas were interested in doing there in those last few moments.
Did you see it coming?
Did not touch the point at all.
From a mile away. If there was a way to lose round number 1, that would be terrible. It would be that way. Man, that is tough.
Find your center, folks. Prepare yourself now for our second round here on Busan. Once again, maybe a Junker Queen composition. Krawi having a great round previously. Really impressed with CJ on that Kiriko as well. And a Genji for Nos.
So now you play this Diva. And now Knife is on Hanzo. Bro. Mitch, I am just confused, man.
Well, I was hoping you'd try and explain it, but I guess that's probably pointless at this stage. We just enjoy the ride, man. Nos, under pressure to you. A lot of Diva in 2U's history during his time on that Seoul Dynasty roster. Great job just plucking Nos out there. Maybe a little bit of an overstep, but hard to predict 2U would go for that play.
Yeah, and I actually think you're going to move off this Genji straight away. Yeah, I mean, when you see Diva on the other side, Diva with his Zen, you can definitely get some, big damage with some significant hash from that.
Very defensive look here for the Vegas Eternal to try and stay alive in the series. It's all on the line, that reverse sweep. Oh, so close for the Valiant. Currently found Knife, though. Haven't seen him find too much value on that Hanzo yet. Questionable decision, to say the least. His Tracer really impressive. The Valiant are back.
I mean,
the hot seat.
It just feels like all momentum is with the Valiant, right? With how the last 2 maps have gone, and then the first point here. Momentum confidence, I mean, is a real thing. It's 30% there for the Eternal off the Rift. Now Finale going to go over to the Sojourn. It seems like they're just searching for answers.
It's in a rush here. The Valiant want to go for them. We saw this in the first map, but it was the Vegas Eternal putting this kind of pressure on their opponents.
DMEC and then just back up, right?
There was a bio there, but no way to really follow up on it. CJ taken very low, but Vegas did back up.
And you think it's going to be really difficult to move into this EMP, right? Like, Irony is just going to explode, you feel like, when this one comes.
Yeah, not where you want to be is this end. 2U going to be rendered virtually useless if he's caught in it. Okay, they can seek a Knife, able to find the pick there. Oh, the sleep!
Oh, nice!
Oh, Nos gets Suzu'd out of it. And what? Sorry, CJ comes in and finds Irony there. So it turns out he comes in on the Kiriko and is able to secure the kill at the very least. That could have gone so much worse for the Valiant. CJ is actually nasty. What the heck?
Yeah, CJ and Lyre on a bit of a flank here as CJ comes up with a few. And now it's just 2 players left on the point for either team.
65 and counting. Overclock here for Seeker now to really punish the Eternal here for a half-baked fight. No one really peeking though.
And Mitch, what happens here, you have a Transcendence coming online, right? But you're just going to have Craw use a Rampage, right?
Overclock for Knife. Quite possibly. Hack here on Knife, but he's being healed up by multiple sources right now. Harmony Orb on him.
So low.
No, he can't hang around yet. Raktak eventually finds that nade purchase. So this will be Vegas getting onto the point just in time. They cannot let it slip from their grasp from here on out.
Yeah, as it looks like a few players going to come in for the Valiant and extend it to 98. So you are in a spot where the Vegas Eternal, you need to be perfect every fight from here on out in order to keep yourselves alive in this series one that you're up 2-0.
Irony has Transcendence, but as you mentioned, this Rampage for Krawi will negate it.
Kitsune Rush, Rampage, and EMP here. I mean, this should definitely be a fight win for the Valiant.
Finale, no pulse, no stick. Have to wait on that one. Here comes the commanding shout. Here come the Valiant. Holding on with this Rampage. Transcendence is going to be forced here, but a Finale found Seeker at the start of the fight. EMP still being held on to. We got a Rampage there, but that Transcendence is still going to get some value. Only able to heal the team up, and here's that EMP, and CJ again appears on the kill feed. It's Finale down, and Krabi was hoping to chase after Knife, but he absconds, heads to the periphery of the point as the rest of the Eternal do as well, but they've got to touch again. Tuyu almost hacked on the way through, but he'll stand on top of the drum. Aini definitely going to try and keep him topped up, but it's going to be Knife to find the headshot with the rail. Tuyu desuited, Seeker finds one on the Sojourn from the back of the point here, where there are numbers for the Eternal. Aini hacked, brought down, Tuyu soon to follow, couldn't get back in his mech. And now it's Rack Attack and Finale to try and keep the dream alive. The Los Angeles Valiant complete the reverse sweep. Heartbreaking for the Eternal, so close to their first win. But the Valiant make it 2 wins for the season. They did not want to be on the receiving end of that Vegas win, but my God, it was close. That could have been over after 3, Matt.
Oh, man, I feel for the Vegas players. I mean, the Valiant, they bounced back in a huge way. Winning the last 3 in a pretty commanding fashion, but dude, I mean, Vegas in complete control after the first 2 maps, and then everything just falls apart.
So some substitutions, I think that definitely we found a little questionable. Finale looked really good alongside Knife, right? The Tracer Sombra looks, the Echo looked really, really good as well. So, okay, we see Finale get rotated out. Okay, reasonable, fair enough. Still see Knife on the Tracer. It's close, they don't quite get there. Then Knife gets rotated out. Finale comes back in, okay. Hanzo, we're getting from Finale.
But then you bring back Knife to play some of the same heroes that, like, he was taken out to presumably play, right?
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Morello. That is absolutely correct. I would say the decisions, I think, over the course of this series for the Eternal, beyond bemusing to us mere mortals, but this is a Los Angeles Valiant team who will exploit these opportunities when given them. They come alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, right? Because, you know, I'm sure, you know, Dove will catch a lot of the, you know, flack online and just kind of the coaches and substitutions and whatnot, where, like, you know, Dove necessarily didn't play bad. It's just Finale was so good early on that you would have liked to have seen him kind of carry on through the rest of the series. But the Valiant, look, they get an opportunity, they take advantage of it, and they end up winning the series.
So, talk player of the match, this person definitely snatched up the snitch, if you know what I'm saying. Seeker, rather, with a fantastic showing here. And I've got to say, you know, we saw him on the casting. We sort of said, hey, like, we expected him maybe to move away from the Sombra a fair bit. He does actually play quite a bit of Sombra in this series, and it's just tough going. Like, it's, you know, it's a long day on the tools. Again, I'm going to bring that back because, again, you had to match this Sombra Tracer composition at times from the Eternal. The Hanzo looked really good here, though. When you give this guy an inch, give him high ground, give him any space, and he is finding these insta-kills.
Yeah, I mean, this is the map where he really came alive, right? Being able to play the Hanzo here on Colosseo, it seemed like he was always finding the pickoffs, and it just kind of set them up for the rest of the series, right? For him to then just kind of play the Sojourn here in the final map, Sojourn and some Cassidy.
Yeah, looked really good. We saw Knife, obviously, you know, matching up against him in that Sojourn head-to-head, but Seeker's someone we know on Sojourn and really can get out of control. Great showing here. This is obviously his Hanzo play across the match, so fantastic. Final blows to death, really impressive stuff. And it was a great pick for Colosseo especially. There's long sight lines and the verticality that Hanzo offered you allowed Seeker to play to his strengths, and even on Gibraltar, it was effective in terms of deriving advantages for the Valiant. How did Jose Mourinho put it? If I say any more, I'll get in trouble. We do have our experts, though, who are paid to be provocative. So we're going to head over to them and have them break down this last match, and of course, the day that was. We'll see you on the other side of this.
Baby. Help me. Counting 3, 2, 1, pushing Queen, pushing.
Then one, trace the point. Let's fucking go, bro.
I'm MVP on this hero. I'm MVP. Let's go.
Let's go, bro.
Let's go, Valiant indeed. Pulling off the reverse sweep, a heartbreaker for every Paris
for
Eternal
everyone
fan. He's
who
getting another heart.
predicted the Eternal. Oh,
And
Vegas.
I think my heart really broke
Vegas.
watching the player cam of Rack Attack.
Holy.
That one.
He thought he won. That's
yeah.
the first. That's a classic mistake. It's a classic
one.
mistake.
Don't think you're winning.
You're up on match point, and you think you've got it. You're feeling good.
Honestly, up until that point,
It looked like they had it.
I would be pretty happy.
I mean, it was a beatdown.
Yeah,
and then,
it was pretty. They were winning pretty convincingly.
But you solved the puzzle here.
I solved the
Coach
puzzle.
Jake, bring it.
All right, I just think I can understand actually Dove playing on Colosseo because he was playing well on the Hanzo, and like maybe that's a comfort pick for Dove. Why did he play Jib? Why did they play Jin? They played Sombra the whole game. Finale, like, they were doing so well with their roster on the first 2 maps, they weren't really going to change anything as far as hero comp on the 3rd map. I can understand Dove and Finale playing, you know, but it's like your Mei, it's your Rush Strat, whatever. But on Gibraltar, why not have the players who did so well on Tracer Sombra keep playing this dive comp? Like, it's working, and you're not going to change roles.
That is my question. So what? You know, like when you're winning that convincingly, sure, like you have like different strats for different maps. I get it, but like, isn't it sometimes just better to, you know, play the momentum, like go with the flow, and you know, when you're winning convincingly, just go with it. Like,
especially when you just picked up these guys, and like, there's no, I mean, with Finale, rather just coming in, it's like there's no way they have some, you know, they're like super committed to their roster on certain maps. So we've solved it all. No, I mean, you're still kind of experimenting at that phase with a new player coming in, and the match is just, the momentum is in your favor, and the dive comps are looking really good. You know, I think, you know, like, okay, this is a huge, I mean, Dove, like,
but maybe this is a matter of, maybe this is a matter of getting lost in your own playbook. I think Boston Uprising had a bunch of seasons where that happened to them, where they just stuck to the plan so much, and just wouldn't be willing to divert from it, even though it was clearly not working out.
It's unfortunate.
Unfortunate is very much what it is.
And I feel like once Valiant got the momentum, this match was over. And they're very much a momentum team. Like, when they start feeling it, everybody starts lighting it up. Everybody starts finding kills. Seeker definitely took the lead. That's why he's player of the match on Colosseo. I mean, he was the savior so many times for the Valiant. But once they had the momentum, that third map, the final map, like, yes, the roster comes back, but
but they already credit to Valiant for turning it around. Credit to Valiant for turning it around. I mean, you're down 0-2. Momentum is all in Vegas Eternal's favor. And then you go into Gibraltar. Like, Krawi had a pretty good Winston game for his standards, you know. So the Valiant, they came back and won this one. The Junker Queen, obviously, they were really comfortable on this 5th and final map, because Krawi swapped over to the Junker Queen, and they looked really good there for Valiant. It really did feel like Vegas Eternal were in trouble. Even if you lose that final round there, I mean, you're still going to Mecha base, right? And then Valiant are still favored in that one, I feel like. So the fact that they came back, credit to Valiant there. I mean, I think we only have like a handful of reverse sweeps this year, and now Valiant have it there. So great job.
And holding on to Gibraltar after getting held on second, pretty early on second too. Like, it was a very winnable offense for the Eternal. But I feel like it was really, you know, it was frittered away. And Valiant, as soon as they got that one foothold in the series,
I knew everything was over when I saw Seeker on Sojourn on the very last map. I was like,
that's it.
I think I did.
That's when he started prepping your questions for the Valiants, and that's where we go with it. Yeah, he's just like, oh well, we had a good run. Almost heard it from the Paris Eternal, Vegas Eternal, of course. But alas, it shall not be. They will remain winless thus far, and that was one of the few chances they really had. Tomorrow they will be facing off against the London Spitfire.
I did the math.
Maybe you did the math. Hit me with the numbers.
You calculated this one out?
They haven't won since June 19th last year. They're currently on a 27-match lose streak. So
it's impressive.
I don't think they can reach 40 because there's not enough matches. But
it feels like 40. To be honest,
dream.
A man can dream. Should he though? That's the real question.
Great job,
well, Valiant though, we do want to, of course, have a quick chat with them. Valiant managed to get it done. A lot of pressure, of course, on their shoulders there to perform, because, as they said in their interview, Liar and Seeker, when they chatted to you, they do not want to be the first team to get an L against the Vegas Eternal.
He's behind you.
Oh,
he's there.
He's watching you. Hi. Congratulations, you guys did it.
Thank you guys. You know, we were looking pretty grim after the first 2 maps. But
yeah, we noticed.
Yeah, on the 3rd map, we're just a Gibraltar team. It happened against Glads, and it happened today. So I'm just happy we, you know, stuck it out and got that dub.
I want to get more detail on that, because this was a reverse sweep, and you know, after map 2, things were looking a little difficult for the Los Angeles Valiant, but you guys did get the reverse sweep. So like, how'd you guys get it done?
Well, I think we've had this problem all year where we start off really slow and we play scared, and it always seems to be on the 3rd map where we just come alive and just look way better. Our attack wasn't as dominant, but on our defense, I hope the stream could see we were playing phenomenal on that defense, and it carried over to the rest of the match.
Yeah, I really feel like,
you know.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think we just were, you know, we wanted to make plays a lot more. We weren't scared. We knew that we just had to do something different.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do feel like when you guys play these comps that are, you know, like, I mean, Rush comp is one of them, but just anything where individuals are making plays, but you're playing more as a unit. You guys are like running in together. That's when you guys do look at your strongest. So I wanted to ask you about those comps. Playing the Rush comp, you often playing the Lucio, but also flexing over. How's like the comp structure in the team for that? Is it everybody like calling plays and kind of following whoever sees the play, or you know, on main support, are you taking kind of the lead on that with ult tracking, etc.?
So for comms and Rush specifically, I feel like we all contribute a lot, especially when like we're playing really well. Everybody's giving their input. I'm usually ult tracking and fight planning a lot of the time and calling the mid fights. But I'd say everybody contributes. But I'd say I'm probably the main commer out of anyone.
All right, Liar. The legend of Liar continues to build here in the Overwatch League. There've been a lot of highlights from you. There's been a lot of player names being mentioned. You know, he beats Funny Astro, for example. But I need to know, who's the role model for Liar? Who's the Lucio you look up to? Who inspires Liar to do what you do?
Well, I used to be a flex support, so when I first swapped to main support, I always watched Funny Astro. And I mean, if you're a main support out there, please don't watch Funny Astro. You are not him.
You're not him.
But I'd probably say like the people I look up to the most for Lucio is definitely Funny Astro and Chio. They're both phenomenal Lucio players, just insane mechanics, insane game awareness. They're just so good.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn when watching those two players. But you two are one of the greats in the Overwatch League, so I'm sure there's a lot of people looking up to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Once again, congratulations on the W, and we hope to see many more of those for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. The Valiant did it. They are pulling off the reverse sweep against Paris Eternal. And what a reverse sweep it was. Heartbreaker again, of course, for all the Vegas Eternal fans out there.
That's fine.
And they're dead. Are they dead to you? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, let's take a look once again at our scores. So we know exactly how they died. That's how they died.
Whoa! I mean, Boston did die. Boston sort of died. Vegas definitely died.
That was death. That was death across the board, for sure.
The headline the producers wrote is "Nice try."
I mean, it was not a bad.
It was in fact a nice try.
NT, bro. NT.
Oh, when will the pain end? Somebody spare Rack Attack. Just end the suffering.
I feel so bad for Rack Attack.
Yeah, he was getting emotional on the player cam. I mean, it's a rough spot to be, especially when you felt like you were gonna win, right? You felt like you were on the cusp of victory, you know, inches away, and it just got dragged away from you. It's really painful. And, you know, I appreciate that he still got the passion, still committing everything, trying to get that win, you know, regardless of the circumstances. And I think Vegas, regardless, we said, okay, this is their match. I think they're going to keep fighting hard in every match. They took a map off Boston. I think any of these mid-tier teams could be caught sleeping, but Vegas, they need to kind of iron out these kinks and find their look that feels the strongest for them, that is strong enough to beat these teams.
Finale.